Hello. 안녕하세요. Ryan Walters here at Seoul World Cup Stadium, and I think we might be sideways. Maybe the video's supposed to be this way. It looks like it's going the right way. My phone's not being my friend today, but we're not going to talk about the phone. That's not what we're here to talk about. Instead, we're going to talk about FC Seoul getting a 2-1 victory, almost a 2-0 victory, but
almost
there was
a draw.
Yeah, all sorts of things going on that were almost in this match. But they did bounce back after a loss to Ulsan. You know, last time, Paul, you and I were here at Seoul World Cup Stadium, we ended that match saying that we would see how they would do against the stronger competition. This is two ACL teams. Obviously, things didn't go the way they would have wanted down in Ulsan, but they bounced back, and they got a good win today against a good Gyeongnam side.
Yeah, it was important to bounce back after Tuesday's defeat to Ulsan. But the Gyeongnam team was much changed from their midweek game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with one eye on the ACL game on Wednesday against Kashima Antlers. So I think if there was going to be an opportunity to beat Gyeongnam, it was in a
today.
Game. Yeah, and they did that. Now, I was having a go at Park Ji-young's set piece inaccuracies in the first half, and then he goes and shows me up by playing in frankly, a good ball in onto the head of Alexander Pesic. Great header, top corner.
Yep.
So great for him to get off the mark with his first goal since coming in from Al Ittihad. But the first half, other than the goal, was quite uneventful, I thought.
Yeah, a bit. But I think the second half kind of made up for it there. We had the rarely seen triple sub.
Yeah.
That was my highlight. It was not. I just like seeing those kind of things. But Matt, you made a rare return here to Seoul World Cup Stadium. What were your impressions of the match overall, and especially in that second half?
Well, the second half was obviously a lot more livelier than the first half. It dragged on a bit at the beginning. Seoul brought it to life finally with that Park Ji-young free kick. But I think Gyeongnam's weakened team didn't help things, and we did see when they did bring on reinforcements, they did show.
They looked the part.
Yeah, they showed why they were runners-up last season. They showed why they're in the Champions League. Mm-hmm. It was exciting near the end. It was really exciting near the end. We didn't know. There could have been so many different outcomes. Seoul could have left here with more than 2 goals, or they could have left here with less than 3 points.
Well, that was something we were talking about during the match. Pesic, I think, he'll be happy at the end of the day, but some of those one-on-ones with the keeper, you got to convert those.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be quite happy. You spoke to him last week, Paul, and he seems a very determined fellow about trying to get on the goal-scoring sheet. But, I mean, he got on it today. He scored a goal today. There'll be more opportunities for him. He will have to start converting some of those, though, because Seoul aren't going to be as gifted as many chances as they were today, late on. Well,
they were especially lucky today because at the end of the match, with the last kick of the match, it could have been 2-2. And then they would have really been ruining those misses. But
well, it could have also been 2-2 as well because Gyeongnam missed a penalty, which, in the madness of everything that went on, it was actually that bit got overlooked.
And drilled that crossbar though.
Well, it was.
I think it's still shaking.
It was.
So yeah, Eong Jae was fouled by.
Shin Jae-won.
I was going to say Shin Tae-yong's son.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, all of these things.
But he was fouled, deserved penalty.
Yeah.
And but Gyeongnam were lining up their 3 subs, their 3 attacking subs.
Yeah.
But because it was a penalty, they couldn't bring them on, and the defender Eong Jae went up to take the penalty, and it's a bad penalty.
Well, we saw what happened. Yeah. I think. That was something, though, you mentioned that was the right call, and I agree with that. And then Seoul's second goal was originally called offside. They looked at VAR, and they made the right call there as well. And I think this isn't something that we necessarily talk about as much as I feel like maybe we should sometimes. I thought today they made a lot of right calls. I thought the officials did a really good job calling this match with some moments that could have caused some controversy, but I think they did a good job keeping those moments in hand.
Yeah, we should, as much as people like to rag on VAR and criticise how how it's put into use, and I know there's some hard-felt supporters in K-League 2 at the moment who think that it's been ineffectively used at some teams, but when it gets used correctly,
some teams that might be making posters about this, who knows?
I just don't. I mean, let's not get into that. I don't think they were all. I think some of those decisions were correct. But
today's posters are great, just for the record.
Today's decisions were correct. The ref had a very good performance and deserves praise for what he did today. Got the penalty spot on. Took his time a little bit with the VAR decision, but got the right call in the end. And just a good all-round game by the officials today.
Yeah.
It looked as though that call for the second goal was because Choi Hook was offside, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was the initial pass into Pesic, which was, as we saw, whilst we're waiting for the ref to go and make the decision, watching it on the replay, it was clearly onside, and it was just a matter of time before I clicked tweet.
Didn't have to delete that one.
No,
there were some other ones maybe, but yeah, I think. Well, we talked about this a little bit in the podcast last week, and we've been talking about it in the build-up of this year. I think Seoul, we've largely been lamenting them not being in ACL just because it's a bit strange that they're not there, and this is a team that traditionally has been. But I think today is a perfect example of how they can capitalize on that. And this was the case last year where they could have capitalized on not having so many competitions to be in. And this year, this was a weakened Gyeongnam lineup compared to what they would usually put out if they were putting out their strongest 11, and Seoul took advantage of it. You know?
Seoul trying to get themselves back on their feet after 2 rough seasons, especially last year, and that's right, having little other distractions other than the league and the FA Cup, which is coming up soon, then that's all I can ask for, because like you said, Gyeongnam made a lot of changes.
Yes.
Because of ACL on Wednesday.
Which I think is the right call for them as well.
I mean, they've drawn their first 2 ACL games, and you would think that the league would be more important to them, especially when you lost Markow. You want to just try and make this team effective in the league. But if they'd have picked up 1 victory in those 2 ACL games, then they might not have made that many changes here today.
Well, the group that they're in, I believe they're one of 2 teams with 2 draws. So I think going in, this is a very important match day for them coming up against Kashima midweek, which is not an easy match going against the defending champions of Asia. So I think they're kind of putting a lot of focus on that. And I think rightly so, because if you can get a win in that, then you're still in the competition. If they lose that match, then maybe they pull the plug and they start flipping which lineups are the stronger or not. But again, I think Seoul did well to take advantage of that today.
I'd just like to add that I don't think that it wasn't that bad of a decision either, because they have clearly got some strength in depth, and we didn't actually think they had that much of going into the season, because we focused on losing Markow, but they do seem to have a good backup team. And the stats show that it was quite even come the end of the match. It was 47%, 53% for Gyeongnam. Shots was pretty much down the middle, 10 to Seoul, 12 to Gyeongnam. It was a very balanced match, and it kind of shows like the kind of depth that Gyeongnam have actually acquired.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to be pivotal for them as they get into a third competition, like you say, Paul. The FA Cup's coming up very soon for K1 clubs, so it'd be really interesting to see how they balance all that out. But again, that's not something that FC Seoul has to worry about, and they're doing well with the competitions that they're in right now. Speaking of teams that are in multiple competitions, elsewhere there have been some other results today.
In the early kickoff was Daegu FC welcoming Songnam. Another sellout at Daegu today. Their 4th home game in their new stadium, their 4th sellout. So they're really bringing, bringing the everything we want to see at the
K-League. The atmosphere.
Bring the atmosphere and a feel-good factor back to the K-League. Songnam took the lead though through Eda, and Daegu managed to pull one back late on in the second half. Sasina assisting Kim Jin-Hyuk. I'm just checking my paper off the screen here. But they won't be happy with that, Daegu. They actually played a reasonably strong side, and fielded a reasonably strong 11, and should have seen off Songnam with ease. And all credit to Songnam for holding.
I was going to say Songnam, they've been holding tough, and I talked about this last weekend. They looked like they were going to get a draw against Gangwon, and then ended up conceding late. But Songnam, they don't necessarily look built to. They don't look built to stick around, but they're not going to go easily. Yeah, and they are certainly staying out of those relegation spots, picking up these important points right now. So, yeah, credit to them. But you would want to see a little bit better out of Daegu. But again, I think that's another club that's got something else on their mind.
Okay, we've got a couple of things coming in here. Benny Kim 2-0 or 2-1. It was 2-1 in the end. It was 2-1. Despite our confusion with at the beginning of this video.
So much happened, we forgot what the score was.
2-1 could have been 4-1, could have been 2-2. It was an absolute.
Second half,
it was a very good second half.
But there are a few other games that are going on right now. We're going to try to get to those. These guys are going to go down into the tunnels. I'm going to go somewhere where it's warm and maybe get a cup of coffee, because why not? These are all the things you tune in to watch and see, right? Anyway, speaking of things that you do tune in for, we're going to be at El Juego Pub this Wednesday watching ACL. And, I guess we can go ahead and say this now. We did get a big box of goodies.
Oh, we did.
And we will be sharing some of the photos for that soon, but we are going to have some giveaways for just about everything. So if you want to get involved in any way as far as coming out to the pickup games, coming out to the watch parties, just even something as easy as subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review, we've got kits from almost every team. We have kits from teams that don't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah.
We have some Goyang Zycro kits.
Chungju Hummel as well.
Chungju Hummel.
In there, and San Police.
We've got all sorts of goodies to give away, and we're going to be giving those away starting maybe even this week. So, again, keep your eyes peeled on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. We'll start posting some pictures. But, yeah, we're really excited to start getting some of this stuff out to those of you that have been participating and watching the videos and everything. So, keep tuned, and we will have more information on that. But for now, I think we're going to get out of here. I'm going to very unawkwardly have Matt turn off the camera.